Imagine two men whose everyday business was selling salami, deciding to build a race car capable of challenging the best machines of their era. It sounds like fiction, but it really happened. In the mid-1960s, the Aguzzoli Condor was born, one of the most unusual and forgotten Italian coupés ever created. Combining passion, engineering courage, and pure ambition, this car briefly stood shoulder to shoulder with legends from Alfa Romeo and Ferrari. It never reached mass production, yet for a short moment, it had everything it needed to become a true icon of motorsport history. The story of the Condor begins with Giovanni and Sergio Aguzzoli. While their primary business revolved around the meat trade, Sergio was also an Alfa Romeo dealer and a devoted racing enthusiast. His dream of building a competitive racing car led to the creation of the Condor project. To bring this vision to life, the Aguzzolis assembled a talented team, including former Ferrari test driver Luigi Bertocco and a young engineer named Giampaolo Dallara, who would later become one of the most influential figures in motorsport engineering. The first prototype of the Aguzzoli Condor was completed in 1963. It was built on a lightweight tubular space frame and used mechanical components from the Alfa Romeo Giulietta SZ. The bodywork was crafted by Carrozzeria Neri and Bonazzini, a company known for its collaborations with Ferrari. Even in its earliest form, the Condor stood out thanks to its compact proportions, aggressive stance, and mid-engine layout, features typically reserved for serious racing machines. This initial version was powered by a 1.3-liter inline-4 engine, mounted just ahead of the rear axle. It was paired with a gearbox sourced from the Citroën DS19, which proved to be less than ideal. Despite this limitation, the car made its debut in late 1963 at the Modena Autodrome and immediately attracted attention. The project showed clear promise, even in its experimental phase. Soon after, a second and far more refined version was developed, the Condor MK2. This iteration featured a 1.6-liter engine derived from the Alfa Romeo Giulia TZ, producing around 170 horsepower. The engine was paired with a proper racing Hewland gearbox, significantly improving both performance and reliability. Thanks to extensive use of lightweight materials such as fiberglass, the car weighed just around 550 kilograms, resulting in exceptional performance for its time. From a design perspective, the Condor was a true work of art. Its body was designed by sculptor Franco Reggiani, giving the car a unique blend of aesthetics and aerodynamics. The sleek silhouette, low roofline, and flowing rear end made it resemble a miniature endurance racing prototype. Observers often noted similarities to iconic cars like the Ferrari 250 LM and Porsche 904, yet the Condor maintained its own distinctive identity. On the track, the Condor quickly proved its capabilities. In 1964, both prototypes competed in the Coppa at Monza, finishing first and second in the 1.6-liter prototype class. This strong debut was followed by a series of competitive performances in Italian racing events. One of its most impressive achievements came in 1965, when the Condor secured overall victory at the Castione Baratti Neviano Arduini hill climb, defeating more powerful rivals such as Abarth prototypes. As development continued, several technical improvements were introduced. The engine was enlarged to approximately 1.7 liters and equipped with dry sump lubrication, enhancing performance and reliability. Aerodynamic refinements were also made, including a redesigned front end with larger air intakes to address cooling issues. These upgrades allowed the Condor to remain competitive despite limited resources. Despite its growing success, the project ultimately came to an end. Alfa Romeo, which had already committed to its partnership with Auto Delta, chose not to support the Condor project. Without backing from a major manufacturer, further development became unsustainable. After roughly 3 years and an investment of around 120 million lire, a substantial sum for a private venture, the project was discontinued. In total, only 2 Aguzzoli Condor cars were ever built, the original prototype and the improved M2. Unfortunately, the first car was eventually dismantled and no longer exists. The second example, however, survived. After years of obscurity, it was rediscovered, restored, and preserved in a private collection, where it occasionally appears at classic car events. Because the Condor was never a production vehicle, it never had an official market price. It was a purely experimental racing project. However, considering the engineering involved and its performance capabilities, it would have been comparable in value to high-end racing cars of the era. Today, the Aguzzoli Condor is an incredibly rare and valuable piece of automotive history. As the only surviving example of a two-car project, its value is difficult to estimate precisely, but it could easily reach several $million. More than just a car, it represents a remarkable story of passion and ingenuity, a reminder that even outside the major manufacturers, true innovation and brilliance could still emerge.